How Long It Takes to Change Your Life is a speech by a fourth-year medical student, Noel Hadaki. She explained about the scientific way to form a new habit and exposed a popular myth behind it. She shared that a new habit can be a routine according to the complexity of the goal, and one's consistency does affect the journey. In easy words, the often you practice, the quicker you will adapt. Her sharing is also supported by a psychologist's finding that says it took 2 to 8 months to start a new habit. Towards the end of her speech, she also encourages her audiences to start changing their lives for the better.
The first one is eye contact. Noel Hadaki begins her talk with a direct question: have you ever thought while maintaining clear eye contact with the audience? It is an effective way to build connection right from the start and makes the audience more curious about what she is about to share. During her talk, while explaining about 21-day myth and 2 to 8 months, she used direct eye contact to emphasize her main points. By looking at the audience during these moments, she effectively signals that information is important. This technique strengthens her message delivery and adds more clarity to her arguments. But sometimes, she looks at the screen or notes while explaining data, which reduces connection with the audience, and she makes her eye contact focuses mostly in the center. I think she can improve more with a gaze to the left and right side of the room.
Next, I'll be explaining about her volume. Throughout her speech, her voice is loud and clear. She once mumbled in the middle of her speech, but she calmly continued later on. I do hear some Middle Eastern accent, yet it does not affect her pronunciation entirely. I think that her accent gives more identity and personality given her bright voice, so I find her very friendly and authentic in her speech. However, I heard that her introduction is a little bit breathy, so I find it somewhat distracting. If she were to keep her voice's composure from the beginning, as a listener, I think I will be interested much earlier as she was delivering her hook. It is a good thing that the speaker gets more relaxed towards the end.
And the third one is gesture. Noel Hadaki effectively uses her hands to illustrate her ideas, especially when describing repetitive actions such as day by day or early in the morning. Her hand gesture also helps her to emphasize rhythm and flow, keeping the audience visually engaged as she speaks. Her hand gesture aligns well with her words, helping to reinforce her verbal message. For example, when she talks about change or progressions, her gesture often moves outward or forward, visually presenting growth. I think this harmony between gesture and speech strengthens understanding and makes her presentation more memorable. But some gestures like open palms, pinch fingers, she uses it too often. She could vary them for better effect, and she mostly stays in one place. I think she can improve this more by moving slightly across the stage during the transitions. And at her final message, start working on it today, she could step forward or use a bigger gesture to make a strong and powerful ending.
Last but not least is her speed. I noticed while she was presenting, her speed was quite slow compared to other speeches I have heard. She often rhythm and planned her word with pauses and emphasis, which leads to a slow and composed speech. She might do that so that she does not appear to be nervous, which is a good strategy. However, it might bore the audiences due to the curiosity building up and her leisurely pace. Some audiences with short focus span will lose interest in the middle of her speech. For example, while she was delivering a point, she maintained the same speed as she was explaining further about it. This situation makes her speech appear to be scripted and does not naturally come from her heart. However, looking at the bright side, her speed of delivery was purposely and consistently paced, as she kept a calm and encouraged speed, convincing her audience to trust her sharing and start thinking differently.
In conclusion, Noel Hadaki confidence and strong delivery skills through her effectively use of volume, eye contact, speed, and gesture. She could add more variation in her gesture and tone to create greater impact. Her overall presentation remains confident in expressions and engaging to listen to. That's all from us. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.